Hey everyone, welcome to another JNR gaming video, and in this series I want to talk a little bit about each individual person and what happened in their matches in their tournament, in their brackets. So taking a look here, we can see that Djokovic was obviously favored, Murray, Wawrinka, and then it drops down to like Nadal, Raonic, Federer. Man, Raonic had a really bad showing versus Nadal, in my opinion. And you have like Dimitrov and some of the others. So these are basically the top players I'll be talking about. You can just take a look there. Pause the video if you need to. And then here we have the women's side. Obviously Serena was heavily favored. I think this is like 4-1. And Kerber, Halep got knocked out in the first round. And then you have Muguruza, Pliskova, Sibylkova, Radwanska. There were a lot of upsets in the women's side. Okay, so let's take a look at the women's side. I apologize as it's really late, so I'm whispering. Okay, so Serena did not drop a set this whole tournament. I mean, I thought Bencic would give her some issues in the opening round, and I was dead wrong. That should have been a sign where I should have backed her initially. I think I was on Konta to take her out in the quarter, and that didn't work out, obviously. I think her toughest test here was Strycova and Venus. I think Strycova is the only one who pushed her to 7 games. So I think she was also up a break, but Serena just has the heart of a champion to keep coming back. Konta, I expected Konta to give her like at least a set, but she got obliterated. I think this is going to be the season for Serena. Last year, I think only Azarenka and Kerber were able to beat her, but Kerber this season, man, I mean, just from the Australian Open, I can just tell she has some injuries going on or something, because, like, take a look here. She's going to 3 sets in all her matches, struggling. Well, she did look better versus Kristina Pliskova, but against Van de Wey, she just got destroyed. I think her strongest asset is her return game, and that's really struggling right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe she's getting older, 30 years old soon. But anyways, back to Serena. Excellent tournament. Expect to see more of her. Okay, moving on then. Venus, the semi-finalist, the runner-up. So we see she was just straight up cruising the whole tournament until she got to Van de Wey, where Van de Wey took a set from her. Beating, like, look at this, Ying Yang Duan. She knocked out, I think she took her set off Radwanska before the tournament, and she just straight up 6-1, 6-0'd her. So Venus is another one to look out for. Even though she's 36 years old, I expected her to finish, somewhere. Like take a look at the odds over here. She was priced at like 67-1 before the tournament started. Look at that. It's Venus Williams, 67-1. So that's just insane, the way that women's tennis is playing out so far. We'll see how she does throughout the season. Hopefully she doesn't get tired, but things are looking good for Venus here. Pavlyuchenkova was also a very tough match, and I believe that match was always back and forth, like they were breaking each other back and forth, but luckily she got the win there. I think that's it. Barthel and Vogel weren't that tough. But again, she put up a great fight versus Serena, 6-4, 6-4. She was also up a few breaks, and Serena had to battle back, but I think if she made a few better decisions, she could have pushed the match on to a third set and perhaps a tougher battle, but Serena, obviously too good. Okay, moving on, we have Sibylkova here. Sibylkova got knocked out by Makarova. I think I saw a bit of that match. Makarova was definitely a tough opponent, but still early on. I think Sibylkova will bounce back from this. Now here we go. Pavlyuchenkova, I think she's ranked around somewhere in the hundreds. And the big upset here was obviously Kuznetsova, where she 2-0'd her. That's a pretty big upset. And she also took out Svitolina. That's where I expected her to stop her run. But obviously Svitolina and Kuznetsova weren't up to par. So expect to see more of Pavlyuchenkova this season. Okay, now next we have Konta. I think Konta is actually between Konta, Vandeweghe, Venus, and Pavlyuchenkova. Like those were the strongest showrunners at this tournament, I believe. Konta did excellent. She 6-1, 6-4 Makarova. She played very well on her serving. I think she had arguably the second best serve in this tournament. She destroyed Wozniacki. I don't think Wozniacki had any issues either. Okay, now moving on. Vandeweghe, this was the biggest surprise of the tournament in my opinion. Knocking out Muguruza was huge. 6-0, 6-4. That's just unheard of. Kerber, she knocked out Kerber. That's massive. And then she also took out Bouchard. These were the three biggest upsets so watch out for Vandeweghe. If she can fix her unforced errors, she has extremely strong serve. I think her, Konta, and Serena have very good serves. Watch out for her this season. Bouchard didn't really have a strong tournament. Shuai Peng, I think they were like even money, and she beat her somewhat convincingly. But of course she ran into Vandeweghe here. I think she will improve as the season goes on, though. Karolina Pliskova, man, she really did not play well this tournament, in my opinion. Versus Ostapenko, she was down so much in the third set, and then she was down a lot, and she came back versus Ostapenko when she should have lost, in my opinion. Then she beat Gavrilova, which was expected, and losing to Lucic Baroni. I don't know if there was an injury there, but I think Baroni just outplayed her. I don't think she will be a top player this season unless she can improve on her unforced errors. I mean, of course, her service is in the top percentile, but she double faults a lot, and I will not take her in any other majors. Let's see, Radwanska. This was quite the biggest upset of the tournament, losing to Lucic Baroni. So of course Lucic Baroni is one to look at, but I don't know about her injuries, if they will continue or not. Even she went to 3 sets versus Pironkova. Muguruza had a pretty decent tournament. She didn't really face anyone particularly strong until Vandeweghe, though. Cirstea, Sevetsova, Crawford, they're not really that powerful opponents. Halep, you get knocked out. The same thing happened with Cilic. Top seeds always get knocked out sometimes, so there you go. I think she will rebound, though. Shelby Rogers, yeah, she was the one who knocked out Simona Halep, but then lost to Barty. This was also another good underdog for this tournament to take. Okay, going on to the men's now. This tournament was quite... I think the last time the first and second seed got knocked out was back in like 2004. So we have Djokovic. He did excellent during the first round versus Verdasco. I mean, before in Brisbane, he got pushed to match point versus Verdasco, and he knocked him out in 3 sets this time. But that's the thing with top high-level tennis, is that anyone can beat anyone on any given day. And as you can see here, Istomin, it was a 5-setter, and in my opinion, Istomin was really the front runner here. Okay, so Murray losing to Misha was also a big upset. Before that, he was looking good, but Misha just used serve and volley tactics to overcome him. Istomin had 2 good upsets here. Djokovic and against Carreno Busta. He was also a 3-1 underdog. So he also took a set off Dimitrov, but I don't know how consistent Istomin can be, as I think he lost like 10 matches in a row last year, but hopefully I think he will be able to rebound. And of course Federer. Federer had a tough schedule. Look at that. Nishikori, Melzer, well, not really Melzer, but Nishikori, Marinka. Those were really tough tasks for him, going to 5-set rounds. You know, he almost lost here in both matches. I think he was behind breaks, and he also won against Nadal in the 5th set, being behind a break. So I think he will be performing well at majors, and hopefully he doesn't get injured and play in other tournaments. that much, because as you can see, he's like 36, 35 now, and he's been having leg issues even during his match versus Wawrinka, so be careful of backing him again, unless it's in a major. Like, I don't think he'll win Roland Garros on clay. Maybe Thiem or Nadal or Wawrinka would be a better option there, but it depends on his fitness level. If he's playing in other tournaments, I have to see more of him. Then you have Nishikori losing to Federer. He struggled a lot in his opening round versus Kuznetsov when going to 5 sets as well, so early on in the season we'll see how that goes. And now we come to Rafael Nadal. Nadal has looked great actually this season, coming back after his wrist injury. This was probably his toughest match before Dimitrov was his toughest match before Nadal. Coming into Dimitrov, he was very resilient, and he just had the better endurance and better shot making. Zverev was also another good match, but I think Dimitrov for sure. I thought Dimitrov was going to win. Okay, Dimitrov had a lot of good play here. Look at that. He 3-0'd Gasquet. He 3-1 beat Istomin, the guy who knocked out Djokovic. And he also 3-0'd Goffin. He was playing at an exceptionally high level, and I thought he would beat Nadal, but he was even up a break in the final set, but he just let it slip. I think there's something lacking in the mental fortitude area, because he was making some unforced errors in those final sets. And lastly, but Raonic was pretty disappointing this tournament. Nothing really stuck out to me here. He was expected to beat everyone until he got to Nadal. He has beaten Nadal in the past, but something's lacking. I think his return game is very poor. He needs more finesse at the net for a big guy. He doesn't have a lot of speed. I don't know if he'll ever crack into the top 5, top 3. Hopefully, but maybe he needs a new coach or something. Because look at that, he couldn't even get a set. He was up in the second tiebreaker too, and he just let it slip. Okay, Goffin did struggle versus Riley Opelka, the big serving American, in the first set, but he was able to come back, win the match, and then beat the rest of his opponents. He 3-1 Thiem, which was very surprising. I believe Thiem was in the lead multiple times in the match, and then he just won. I had a feeling he would beat him too, because Thiem, it's the first Grand Slam, and Thiem is more of a clay court player. Dimitrov 3-0ing him was not that surprising at the level Dimitrov was playing at. Tsonga played very well. He should have 3-0'd Soccer, but he made an unforced error, hitting the ball into the net on a smash. But he had a pretty damn good tournament. Unlucky that I thought he would at least pick up a set here versus Stan, but Stan is playing very well this tournament. Stan had a big scare in the first versus Klizan. Apart from that, it was pretty much smooth sailing until he got to Federer. This was a very high-level, scary match for Federer, but after watching Federer, he looks like he's on point, and he has better shot placement than Wawrinka for sure. I think the only thing that's lacking from Wawrinka's game plan is his depth on his shots and his shot placement in some situations with regards to his coming towards the net. Lastly, Kyrgios. I mean, the upset here versus Seppi was just ridiculous. He was throwing his racket. He was doing like tweeners. I just thought it'd be funny to include him last because, he has the capability to be number one. Take a look at that. Brad Gilbert says Kyrgios can be number one if he gets the coach, and I'm his biggest fan. So, there's my thoughts on the Australian Open. I think I was able to pick a number of these correct, and I'll do some previews and highlights and results recaps of the next upcoming ATP 500 or 1000 and challenger events. So, and I'll also have some gaming videos up as I'm starting to play more ranked Overwatch, and I have a bunch of other games, but I just think Overwatch is best right now. But I will be uploading other games in the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm surprised Federer won. Have a good one. Bye bye.